So the journey has begun, and for me, my goal, my challenge to myself is to try to get as fit as I can be by 50. So I'm not talking about bodybuilder fit or something in a magazine, but really try to be in better health for me when I hit 50 than I did when I hit 40. And that's my goal this year. So I'm gonna be sharing a lot of the things that I'm doing now. I've been in practice as a natural doctor for 23 years and work a lot with people who are trying to get fit and get healthy. And I wanted to make it my journey this time though, right? I wanna hit 50 and for myself sort of disprove the lies that I think we all buy into and maybe inspire someone else to say, I can do it too, because there's nothing fancy I'm doing. All I'm gonna do is apply nutrition, apply really hopefully the most cutting edge science, what I'm doing working out, some of the tools and tricks and biohacks that I'll be using to get fit by 50. But one of the things I wanna share today is that I already, to let the cat out of the bag, I already dropped a significant amount of weight last year. So right around the time I was turning 49, I said I wanna get leaner, and I dropped 30 pounds in 40 days. So I know that sounds crazy. I've kept it all off but about 5 pounds, which I'm gonna hopefully carve down and shave off too. But I lost that 30 pounds in 40 days, and I'm gonna share today exactly how I did that and how I lost those 40 pounds. And one of the first things I did, right, is I got my eating plan together. None of this was done. I just want to let you know, none of this losing weight was done through the gym or exercise. I always do that. So I consistently did the thing I would always do. I don't work out for very long. I do it 3 to 4 days a week. So probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. I don't do any cardio, but I do work out quickly when I'm doing weights, right? When I'm doing resistance exercises, I do sort of cardio there, but I wouldn't say I'm killing it. I mean, when I was younger, I used to work out a lot harder and try to put muscle on, and being big is not my goal, so it's not something I'm chasing after. But what I'm doing is the workouts that I know are most efficient for my time, and I'm also doing a couple other things in the gym that are really good just for overall health and for metabolism. But this was all done in the kitchen, right? The saying abs are made in the kitchen couldn't be more true, especially as you get older, right? Your body doesn't always feel as good, your hormones may change. It's harder to be inspired to get to the gym and work out as hard. Your body might not feel like it, and you might just have a lot of responsibility. So it's not really something that is maintainable or doable, trying to stay fit always by being in the gym. It really has to be done in the kitchen. We say it's an 80-20 mix. I think you could even lean on the 90-10 mix, where the shape you want to be in and the health you want to be in is going to be achieved in the kitchen. So back to what I did. The first thing I did is I really had to dial in where I was missing nutrients through supplementation. Now, I use some technology in my office. We do this with clients, but it's pretty cool to find out individually what you're missing. But for many people, one of the things you have to do is really add in a very good quality multivitamin, a really good quality multi-mineral, sort of get that in. I mean, our food is really deficient in the micronutrients compared to how it used to be. So you have to plug that back in and minimally take a good quality multivitamin. I think that's baseline to make up for what we did agriculturally over the past 50, 60, 70 years, how we've screwed that up. And I probably will get into that more as we go down this path, but you gotta take a good multivitamin. For me, I do that, but I also plugged in specific nutrients I knew I was missing. And what that does is it gets you out of like a panic or crisis mode. It can lower your cortisol levels, which often help you store fat, right? The cortisol levels, if they're high, you'll put fat around your gut, around your butt. So you wanna get those cortisol levels lower and de-stress the body so it's ready to wanna drop weight. Once I did that, I was able to really decrease the amount of food I was eating. I'll tell you kind of exactly what I was eating on a daily basis. And once again, I think this worked really well for me because I was repleting, I was replenishing a lot of the nutrients that I would normally be missing through supplementation. But what this looked like for me, and this can vary for people, but I would do a fruit in the morning. My eating times were 9, 12, 4, and 7, right? 4, 7, 8, somewhere around there. And I tried to keep it as close as I can to that to maintain blood sugar levels. And while I wasn't eating in a ketosis sort of way, which I know that's a big trend is ketosis, I was really kind of in a state of ketosis because my calories were lower. And because they were lower, I would sort of burn through my sugar reserves and become a fat burner, right? So the first thing I'd eat in the day would be generally fruit of some kind. Now, I ate a ton of apples. I probably should have diversified more, but I just, for some reason, really loved apples this year, and I ate an apple or two for that first meal. And when I would drive to the store, I'd have a ton of them in my fridge. Hopefully my kids wouldn't eat them, but I'd take an apple, generally a good sized apple. I like Honeycrisp. That's a worthless fact for you. Eat whatever you want, but I ate a lot of apples. Now, I also at times would get a package of blueberries. A pint of blueberries was the portion size for me, or strawberries. I stayed away from the more sugary fruits like bananas, but those are the fruits that I would eat in the morning for my first meal. Now, that would also be my third meal, would be some type of fruit, or you can substitute out a veggie for that. So you could basically at that point have something that's a vegetable for that. If you really want to cut more, you can go with something that didn't have a lot of sugar. You can eat, cucumbers or something. But I just stayed with fruit, right? I did really well eating fruit at that third meal. Now my second meal, right? Not to confuse this, my first meal was at 9 a.m., second meal was at 12 noon, and that would be a protein of some kind with a lot of greens. So I would do spinach or mixed greens or arugula or something, but I would have about 6 ounces of a protein. That could be chicken, fish, red meat, something like that. But I would make sure it was a clean version of that. So the red meat, I'd try to do as much as I could grass-fed. Chicken, I do no antibiotics, no hormones, minimally organic if possible. If it was fish, I would do a wild-caught fish. Stay away from the fatty fish at this point in time. So I'd do like a wild-caught cod, maybe Alaskan cod, something like that. But mostly it was chicken and steak or ground beef that was 90% lean or more. And then I'd eat that without extra fat. My favorite condiment during this time that I just really started liking a lot was mustards. So I'd put like a horseradish mustard on there. Personally, I love that, just to stay away from the sugary condiments like ketchup and things like that. So I'd throw a pile of greens with that, not put oil on it during this time, right? My first 40 days or so, I'd use like a vinaigrette without oil. So it'd be a balsamic vinegar, another type of vinegar, maybe some garlic or salt, pepper, onion powder, something like that, and shake it up, put it on there. And while I enjoy the oil a little bit better in my dressings, it did the job. I honestly didn't feel hungry. And during this time, I enjoyed the food I was eating so much that when my kids would see what I was eating and they'd want some of it, they'd say, wow, that looks really good. I was fighting them like, no, this is my food, don't touch my food, I only get so much of it. I was very protective, but I gave them some of them. Not a horrible dad, I promise you. But those foods were actually quite delicious. I enjoyed it. I wasn't struggling, and I really wasn't hungry. I mean, the first day or two, you may feel a little bit hungry, but you actually feel really light. You feel very sort of mentally energetic. You feel very sort of light through your midsection. Your aches and pains drop significantly because your inflammatory levels drop. Your hormones become more balanced. So I felt my cortisol or stress hormone drop, and you just get an overall better sense of well-being. And one of the coolest things for me was my word recall. So I'd be talking with patients or just in general, and I felt like my word recall was better. I can figure out the words I want to say. I can say more clearly. It was an easier thing to do. And quite honestly, I mean, I will tell you, I felt I was a better dad, and I felt I was a better husband during this time because I didn't feel as exhausted. I didn't feel as drained. I felt more mentally energetic, which I think is a big part of this. I think for me, probably the biggest part wasn't even the rapid weight loss. It was the mental energy and emotional energy that I felt. So that was a really cool thing. Now, third meal, which we hit upon already, would be fruit or vegetable. Once again, portioned, the size of a large apple or a pint of, berries, something like that. And then my fourth meal, which is my last meal today, it would pretty much mirror or mimic my second meal, the protein meal. So I do a protein of some kind. I try to mix and match, so I'm getting a different amino acid profile, but I would do chicken, steak, ground beef that was lean, or fish, and that would be my fourth meal. Once again, with as big of a bowl of lettuce or greens as you want. You can stuff yourself on that. You'll even find at times, which sounds crazy, this was only 600 to 700 calories a day. That's it, right? But the quantity of food, at times, I wouldn't finish it all because I was full. I actually wasn't hungry, I was full, and because of that, I wouldn't finish it all. Now, the crazy thing with this is, at first it seems hard, but within about 2 days, the weight starts dropping off. You really start feeling good. And the weight really, I was losing 1 to 2 pounds a day. 1 to 2 pounds a day. I mean, at 40 days, which is a month and a little over a week, I was down 30 pounds and I was measuring myself. I was actually getting on the scale and measuring my body composition to see where my fat ratio was and muscle, my hydration levels. And my fat was primarily dropping. So when you dial in your hormones right, you actually find that your fat levels drop significantly while you preserve muscle, and you don't just kind of shrink and look thin but skinny fat. You actually get to a place where people are saying, wow, you look healthier, what are you doing? It's not even about weight loss, they'll say, you look healthier, what are you doing? So that's how I lost up until about October, those 30 pounds in 40 days. Now, through the holidays, I did fall off and I ate a little bit worse, but every time I did that, I'd rein it back in a little bit. And I really put on about 5 pounds total since my lowest point. I was about 220, dropped to about 190. You can do the math on that, and went back up to about 195. So that's what I did. And by doing it this way, I didn't just lose weight, but it was really good metabolically. It's really good just for all these other more technical things like your mitochondria health and detoxification and healing the gut and getting your hormones to work more efficiently. That's what happens during this process. Now, I have a lot of other things that I'm doing currently, particularly for men. It could be for women too, but to help my hormones stay in the best state they can be, because it gets harder as you get older, which I'm going to be getting into more and more and more, and I'm excited to deliver that information. But as you can see, there is a lot of weight dropped. I'm going to put a picture in here to show you where I was last summer right before I started and where I was right where I ended. And you can see there's a lot of weight I lost, and guess what? I even saw that I had abs underneath there. Things that I thought that were long lost, right? I know a lot of people think those abs that you had in high school, when you went out and had your chili cheese fries and woke up in the morning and had more abs than you went to bed with, you thought they were long gone, you'd never see those friends again, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm just eating right. I'm not even thinking about abs. I'm just going about my business. And then after that month or so, you start seeing results. You start seeing little areas of definition. You start to see cheekbones and things that you never thought you had, or you forgot you had, and they start popping out again. Now listen, I know, I wish we could all just zen out and be in a Buddhist cave somewhere and feel like, we have no worries about any of the material things in the world or how we look. But as humans, I don't think we'll ever escape that. We all want to look better. We all want to look better. And when you look better and you walk into a room or you put on clothes and they fit you better and you're less self-conscious, you're more aware that you're more fit, you feel better. And when you feel better, you tend to do things better. You tend to be a better relational person, a more productive person. Sometimes you don't even want to go to the gym because you don't look good enough to feel good enough to go to the gym. I know it's a sorry state, but it happens to a lot of people. Well, the good news is you can do this at home, start dropping weight, get yourself mentally in a place where you're feeling good enough to go and then do the other things that you can do, like exercise and get outside and be in more places and be more social and maybe even get around your friends again because you weren't feeling good. So, it's a pretty cool thing. I'm excited to share this journey. And I'll tell you, I really am dead set to hit 50 years old in better shape than I was at 40, possibly at 30, right? And I would love to take you on this journey with me and show you some of the things I'm doing. If you're that middle-aged person, or even if you're someone who's younger in your 20s and 30s right now, and you're saying these things I'd love to apply to myself, comment for me, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when new videos come out. Hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be putting out a video just about once a week, if not more than that. And I'm going to put a lot of really cool hacks in there that I listen to, I read constantly, and I'm really applying these things to my life. But a lot of these things, you'll see people that are 20 years old with abs for days, and they're telling you this supplement or this product, and they're just having abs and looking good because they're 20 years old. That's just how it is. But I know if I can achieve this about to hit 50, that anybody can, that it's nothing magic, that I'm not special, that anybody can do it. And that's what I'm hoping to do is as I'm on my journey, help you to get on your journey and help you change your life as well. So once again, click subscribe, check it out, stay with me, and I hope that as I'm changing, I can help you change as well.